Many people are wondering if the ocean has finally gone into a state of freeze-over phenomena. To answer this question, we must first understand how the ocean works. The ocean is made up of water that is constantly moving in a circular motion, creating surface water that never freezes because it's always being replaced by colder, deeper water. However, when large amounts of ice break off from inland glaciers and flows downstream into the ocean, it causes global sea level to increase. With the mass extinction of biological life at a standstill for now, this new technology may have the potential to bring back the sunsetting day for a few species. But what will it mean for other vital ecosystems? And could this lead to a mass extinction of Earth's biosphere by air pollution and deforestation en masse? The process of a planet's orbit changing is called a Milankovitch cycle, which causes the Earth to experience some changes in sunlight, temperature, and atmospheric dust content. But what causes these cycles to happen? Scientists have been investigating this for years, and some believe that it could be the result of an interstellar object coming too close or too far from our planet. Scientists believe that there are many factors that contribute to the formation of ice ages. For example, when the Earth's axis is tilted in relation to its orbit around the Sun, solar radiation can be blocked by the planet's surface. This causes ice sheets to form on land and cause global warming at the same time. The Earth is currently experiencing climate change. The climate of the Earth has drastically changed over the course of its history. If the climate was different then, we might not have had a full ice cover of all the oceans. As humans, we are part of this changing climate, and therefore, we can be a part of stopping this drastic change from happening. The coldest parts of the Arctic and Antarctic regions are largely responsible for keeping our oceans in a liquid state. These two areas are also home to vast amounts of ice, which is important to the functioning of the Earth's climate. There would be even more if it weren't for the currents, which mix warmer water with colder water. The freezing point of water is the temperature at which water changes from a liquid to a solid. The process by which ice transforms into liquid water is called melting or sublimation. Water's freezing point decreases as the concentration of salt increases, causing ice to melt earlier in lower concentrations of salt. Salt is what you would expect in the water when considering that about 71% of the Earth's surface is covered by water, including 96.5% of it salty, and that humans need salt to live. Salt, also known as sodium chloride, is a chemical compound with an important function in maintaining cell and tissue volume. All that volume means an enormous amount of heat would need to be removed to reach freezing temperatures, and the oceans are constantly in motion too. This distribution of warmer and colder water regions distribute the temperature you need, and don't forget that currents distribute this temperature as well. With the Earth's surface being the densest point on the planet, it is no surprise that the crust is thinnest under the ocean. This allows for a lot of geothermal heat to escape from the Earth's mantle and into our oceans. Without this, it would be a very cold world indeed, without any reflective surfaces to protect us from harmful UV radiation. Antarctica's ice caps are made of snow. Snow is white, so the albedo of ice and snow reflects a large volume of sunlight, which helps to maintain Earth's climate over its history. With global warming causing more than half of the Earth to be covered in ice, this would reflect a great deal of sunlight on the planet. This could lead to less rain and snowfall, disrupting the water cycle. If the heat from the sun did not evaporate water, there would be no clouds, and without clouds, no rain. But don't celebrate by trashing your umbrella. Rain and snow are vital to all life on Earth. When these two elements are removed from the equation, the Earth can become as dry as the South Pole or even parts of the Sahara Desert. An event such as the oceans freezing over would likely mean massive extinctions of many species of animals and plants. And since oceans host 80% of all water on Earth, this would be devastating to the planet. There are thriving marine ecosystems in parts of the Arctic, but those evolved and adapted that way. The rest of marine life would probably perish in a global temperature increase. All those dead fish below the icy surface would have a catastrophic impact on the economic stability of humans. The ice would cut off maritime transport. That would eliminate 80% of the global trade by volume, and that could lead to a collapse in economic stability. A staggering 56 million people who participate in the fishing or aquaculture industries would suddenly be without jobs, and seafood would no longer be a reliable staple of any diet. No more sushi, poke bowls, or shrimp on the barbie. However, the consequences of an ocean turning into salt water would be something that you would find quite difficult to handle. Ocean accounts for between 50% and 85% of the oxygen present in our atmosphere due to the presence of plankton, algae, and bacteria that can photosynthesize. If the world were to be frozen over and oceans turned into a solid block, these animals most likely would not survive, and humans would most likely suffer oxygen deprivation and die. However, if you could effectively plant billions of trees overnight, the chances for survival for these animals are much higher. If you are one of the few survivors, eventually oxygen levels will normalize again. There are many activities that could be done on a frozen planet other than boating and whale watching. For example, you could swim in the water or take a hike through the forests. For anyone who loves the simplicity of nature, life as a colonist would be quite easy as long as they were able to find some way to escape from time to time.